Hi guys, welcome back to another amazing video of Pro Tricks. Well, today we are going to take up the issues of the methods that are adopted by psychologists to arrive at certain conclusions. So what we would do today is one by one, we would come across the important methods or the major methods that are used in psychology. So let's get started. So the first method is that the observation method. Now observation, as you can understand, as the name suggests, that basically there is an observer who would be looking at either the individual or a phenomenon. So you can understand it, there would be two broad categories of observation method. One where the observer participate in the process. So the observer is in direct contact with the group. So this is called as participant observation. Such type of observation are important when you engage in something like, say, play activities, group therapy. So you become a part of the group and then you observe it. So this is called participant observation. The other type of observation is what is called as non-participant observation. Non-participant observation where the observer basically is not in direct contact with the group that he or she is trying to observe. Basically, you would find this in a clinical setup where there is always one-way glass and one group is on the other side of the glass, where the observer is behind the glass. The group cannot see the observer, the psychologist, but the observer, the psychologist, can see the group. Mostly you will find this in a clinical setup. The other, the format of observation method is what is called as naturalistic observation. So again, as the nomenclature suggests, this is a systematic study of animal or human behavior in natural setting. You cannot say bring an animal to a lab to understand the behavior of that very animal in their natural habitat. So you cannot disturb that habitat. So in that case, the only option left is that you, as an observer, go to the natural surrounding and then you make observation. The second is the controlled observation, where the observer looks at the behavior in a controlled lab condition. There is another format of observation, what is called as subjective observation. In this method, the experimenter or the observer carefully examines and report his or her own thoughts and feelings. So you are the participant who is taking part in that experimentation process. You carefully relook at your own thoughts and feelings and report it. Now the psychologist shut down the report, and this is the subjective observation method. The other important method that you would usually find being used is the case study method. Both in the area of organizational behavior and the area of clinical psychology, you find this very method being used. This is a method where intense description and analysis is done of a single individual or a set of individuals. So one single case, you analyze it, at the length you describe it, you interpret it. The other would be that you have a set of people, the activity, and then you make it an intense description and analysis of it. That is called case study. Next comes the survey method. Again, survey, you all know that's a very popular method. It is basically a kind of extensive and widespread study which is designed to build a specific information. For example, when you conduct the interview from a selected group of people to gather information, and then what you do, you analyze it and you come forward with certain types of findings that, see, overall this is how people respond. Overall, this is what people think. Overall, this is what as the interpretation of people of this very given situation. So these are the survey reports. One very popular type of research that you find in psychology is a correlation type of research. This type of a technique is basically based on the natural occurrence of relationship between two or more variables. So any two things which are interrelated in a natural order, say for example, if you have heard the thunder sound and the lightning effect during rainy season, so you see the light first and then after sometimes you hear the sound, and you understand that these two things are correlated. They are the outcomes of the same process. Now, this is a natural occurring relationship. In psychology, one of the major problem is that there are certain inherited relationships that you have to decipher because it is not so apparent. So what happens, the psychologists, they use correlation research. They use this very technique to find out relationship between two or more than two things. Now correlation have two types. One is a positive correlation and the other is negative correlation. Where in positive correlation, if x is high, y is also going to be high. Say, for example, if you are a person who is very intelligent, your marks in certain subject would be very high, if not all subject, okay? Now, negative correlation, on the other hand, is just opposite to positive correlation, where if one thing increases, the other thing decreases. Say, for example, if your engagement in scholastic activity increases, your activity in sports field diminishes. So, increase in one variable is associated with decrease in the other variable. This is called negative correlation. And the third possibility is that the two constructs that you were trying to study that are not at all related to each other. So, concluding, we can say that there are four major methods of psychology: observation method, case study, survey, and correlation studies. Thank you so much for watching ProTricks. So, for more videos, subscribe to our channel. Thank you.